Hi Leo, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Eight of Swords. And the Hierophant. Okay. Eight of Swords and the Hierophant can be a time that you're going through where there can be like guidance that you're seeking. The Hierophant can be somebody that you trust to give you like good advice or to give you guidance. It can be a mentor, it can be a therapist, it can be a friend that you trust or a relative, it can be your spirit guides. But yeah, there can be like somebody that you're searching for to connect with in order to sort of help you move through something that can be challenging at this point in time. It can be something that you feel just particularly stuck on, like I need to sort of see outside of my head right now and maybe get a perspective from somebody that I trust, like that type of thing. Eight of Swords is kind of that moment where you walk yourself into a maze mentally, and the Hierophant can be whatever that like guiding source or light is to help you find your way out of it. And it doesn't have to be another person outside of yourself. This can be you. You just be tapping into this energy within you, which is all you'd be doing even if you had a guide outside of yourself. They would just be helping you tap into that energy within yourself anyway. Like a vehicle. Okay. If you're worried about whether or not something is going to be fair, just, balanced, like am I going to get a fair result from this? Because we have Justice here, I'm seeing there be an indication that things will definitely be working out. It seems like you've needed to be patient with this happening. Some of you, you're seeking counsel. That can be something that's happening as well. I'm seeing a couple different things that this can be. It can be, for example, like something going on within a partnership where you could be feeling stuck. Like we may need to get a counselor here to help us work things out, to bring us back into a balanced space, or to make sure that like everybody's listening to one another. Because we have the Hierophant here, it can very much be somebody that's going to be playing that role. It can be like a mediator, especially having Justice be next to it, which is Libra. We have Taurus and we have Libra here. So these energies are about, like Taurian energy is going to be something where there can be things that come up about like values and belief systems, and also you wanting to hold on to things that matter to you. And then Libra will be like bringing that mediator type of energy through in like a diplomatic way, but it's more than just diplomatic, because to have the Hierophant here, this is somebody where you would like believe in sort of their ethos or like what they're communicating with you, the basis that they're speaking to you from. It's like if you go to somebody that gives you advice but you don't really agree with like their rationale, you're going to be like, well, that may be advice but not for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to have both of these pieces. Of having the Hierophant here shows that first you would connect with whatever this energy is from a standpoint of like, okay, we have similar enough philosophies that I feel like you can actually give me some type of wisdom. And then to have the Libran energy here, it's somebody that's going to make fair judgments or calls or be able to mediate and do that type of thing. And I am also seeing Six of Swords. So you have Eight of Swords, which is like, I'm feeling stuck right now. Like, how do I get out of here? There's something that I'm feeling like maybe I need somebody else or something else to sort of help me through this, to sort of guide the way for me. But I need it to be somebody that has similar enough beliefs to me and that I also feel is going to be fair on both sides of things. So it can feel like this actually becomes rectified. And then having Six of Swords is going to be actually being able to move through this now, where there is a resolving of things. So Eight of Swords can be like, I'm stuck here. How do I get out of here? seeing Six of Swords, this will be, and now we can move on from that. Like now you've actually like untangled yourself from that and we can move forward. So you're not going to be feeling stuck anymore. So yeah, if you are feeling stuck, you may be looking into having somebody come through as some type of guide, mediator, a voice of reason, something like that. But it will first and foremost have to be somebody that you respect, because I'm getting that if we just had justice here, this can be somebody that like they can be potentially trying to make like a fair call, but it can be somebody that you don't really resonate with what they believe on a deeper level, and so it can be hard to hear that. Like you need to feel like there's a sense of trust of like you live the way that is in resonance with me, or you're going to give me advice that will be reflective of that, like that type of thing, you know. And also too, Hierophant can be somebody that understands your cultural beliefs as well. That can also be part of this too. But to have Libra, it would have to be on like both sides. It would have to be on like all sides of everything. It couldn't just be a one-sided thing where it's like this person understands me but they don't understand you, so now there's going to be a favor. Having the energy of Libra here, it shows that it has to be fair on like all sides. So but yeah, things will definitely get better and there will be a moving forward. So you will not be feeling stuck. Moving forward, that's what this will lead to. And towards balance, this also means towards reciprocity. So if there was an issue with values, and values come down to, if my values are not being enforced and respected, and somebody that I'm on the other side of a connection with or a situation with or a relationship with, if these things are not being respected, I feel like my self-worth decreases. That's why values are so important. Like when I'm not honoring my values, I'm not feeling that sense of self-worth that is connected with my values. That's why values are so important. When you find yourself in a situation where it feels like your values or your expectations or just how you think things should work, stuff is not compatible with that, it ends up having you feeling a bit lost. You can feel like I'm not being appreciated, or I'm doing all of the work here, or like it just feels like a lack of equity that you would feel within the dynamic that you're involved in. This shows us moving into a place where there will be more of a sense of balance and equality and reciprocity, compatibility, like those types of things. So it can feel like you're showing up and like the other person is showing up, or whatever's on the other side of this is showing up, like that type of thing. So it will feel like there is, like this is something that can actually work and something that can actually be sustainable, because the way things were working before, it feels like being so stuck of like, I know how I want things to be, but how do I get there? And it feels very much like whatever this mediator is that's going to be giving guidance, like in whatever form this makes itself available to you within your life or manifests, materializes, it helps you to get where you're trying to go. Because I'm getting this feeling of being stuck, like, again, I know where I'm trying to go, I just don't really know how to get there. Like I know what I want the end result to look like, or even like the sort of, it feels like this is going to give you more of a template. Yeah, more than anything. So it can bring to light some really important things that have to do with everybody's values essentially, and how to make things work given what they are. Because this doesn't look like a lack of compatibility to me. This is looking like equality and compatibility is possible, reciprocity is possible, but some stuff needs to be worked out in order for that to actually be seen and reflected within the relationship, that type of thing. I'm being drawn back to this again, to highlight this again, having the Hierophant come out first. Whoever is going to be involved in this process, you need to feel a respect for them, and that they also feel a respect for you, and your like beliefs slash background slash culture. Because you can have somebody that's like, well, it's normal in this culture for this to be happening. And if you have a different culture than that, you're going to feel like this person doesn't understand you. Why would you listen to the guidance that they're giving you? There's something here that's really important about feeling understood and there being respect established because of that. And that coming even before like the mediating happens, to have the Hierophant be first. So if like you're going into something and you feel like you're not recognized for your side of things, or like your beliefs or your culture that feels important to you, or like your value system that feels important to you, it's going to feel like you have to establish sort of this baseline of normalcy, like what's standard for me versus what's standard for you maybe. And that like that is also really important here, that it's recognized that there's some type of like cultural awareness or like philosophical awareness or religious awareness. It'll be like that type of stuff that needs to be understood first. This can even just be somebody that like if you speak a different language than your partner, like you have somebody coming through, if that's the thing that is important, it can be like that type of thing. Been thinking about this for a while, but still like as much as I've been thinking about this, I'm still feeling quite stuck. And you can also be going through some stuff emotionally as well. Like maybe there's a lot of, I don't know, you can be feeling sad about the way that things are currently, and that can be something that you're processing too, needing to see. I really see things can be good here. Like things can actually feel stable for sure. Because I do feel like when it comes to core values, like especially the bigger core values, that you are on like the same page as whatever sort of like on the other side of this relationship. A relationship is just like you have one being here and then like one entity over here, and there being like stuff that's going on in between. That's how I'm meaning that when I say relationship. To have Hermit, this is about you spending time thinking about something, you spending time reflecting on something. It looks like trying to problem solve. But Eight of Swords again can be like, I'm trying to problem solve, but I'm feeling very stuck here and I'm not really sure what to do or how to make this work. And that's also what Two of Swords can be about. Like, what is the issue? Having the Hierophant and having Two of Swords here can be like a conflict of culture, a conflict of belief, a conflict of philosophies, a conflict of background, a conflict of community. It can be something like that. That's what it's seeming like. Like something feels divided right now. But then to have Justice and to have Ten of Pentacles, it feels like there is an aspect socially of core values that would lead things to be able to be secure and stable, and for you to sort of achieve what you're trying to achieve here, and for things to actually like stabilize, and then you can move forward and things can get better, like that type of thing. But it's also going to need reflection on beliefs. And with the Hierophant, having the Hermit and having Hierophant can be, I'm looking at any beliefs that I'm holding on to that may be obsolete at this point. Like maybe there's something that I'm gonna have to compromise on. Maybe there's some stuff that I'm gonna have to surrender. Maybe there's some stuff that I grew up believing this, but now I'm in a different position where I need to sort of become more attuned to the situation that I'm in. And this can be compromise on both ends. But right now it feels sort of like a stick up a little bit with the Hierophant being above. Because the Hierophant can be like, well, I respect this person to be giving me advice, and the other person can be like, well, I respect this person to be giving me advice, and there can be some type of clashing. Or like, I feel understood by this person, they should be the mediator, and someone else can be like, well, I feel understood by this person, and they should be the mediator. And like, you have to find somebody that there's going to be the common ground. Like, you can't have two different people is what I'm seeing. It feels like it has to be joined together. Either Otherwise, it's going to stay in this like split vision that is not being integrated, and it has to be integrated. Otherwise, this won't work. It can work, but it feels like needing, this is like just an example where this can be coming through. It can be like, maybe you're having issues with your partner, for example, and you have somebody that you talk to, and like they have a therapist, and like their feelings are being validated by their therapist or their guide or whatever, and yours are being validated by yours, and it's like, well, both of us have our own sides of this, but there's like the lack of the binding or like integration that will bring things together. So it's like, well, I'm right on my side, well, I'm right on my side, and then there's like not that compromise in the middle, and it feels like there was some type of fusion of like, rather than there being sides, us looking and trying to make something work and seeing that it's like a relationship where there needs to be that common interaction in between. But maybe there was something initially about like establishing individuality, but now it's like, how do you guys work together though, and that being a part of things now at this point. So yeah, there can be some things that are not being seen about beliefs. It feels like at the end of the day, it coming down to something like that, and there needing to be an integration that isn't yet there. And there can also be different ideas about ideals as well. This can be too needing to see what does the Ten of Pentacles look like to me? What does the Ten of Pentacles look like to them? And how can we have this like shared common vision between the two of us? Like, what are our ideals, and something that when this is occurring or things materialize in this way, it allows me to feel secure, and also like my needs are being met, and for also whoever's on the other side of this too. So it feels like everybody's good with the way that things are, rather than it feeling like one side is good and the other one is suffering, or like the other way, that type of thing. I'm seeing it be possible for like this to work for everybody on all sides of this. You just have to take the opportunity to actually do that. So if there's some type of opportunity that has to do with reciprocity, I am seeing communication be a big part of this. This is something that's going to facilitate communication. Seems like this is in the midst of something like that can be pretty impacting you a lot to be going through right now. Moving in the direction of communication. In the beginning though, I'm seeing that like communication can't be had because of one, like, if your thoughts, instead of being sort of a train of thought, it's more like a ball of yarn of thoughts, it can be very difficult to articulate that, because it's like, what's wrong? What's the problem? What am I trying to say here? Like those types of things. And it feels like that's why some type of like mediator, somebody that's going to give like wisdom or guidance, is going to be able to bring insight to that. Because it feels like the thing that like created the problem, you have to be like one plane higher in order to find a solution for that thing. And it feels like the Hierophant is going to be whatever brings you like one plane higher in order to get an aerial view of what's going on, and then be able to communicate that. And like for some of you, maybe this is only your energy. For some of you, this can be both of your energies, where like maybe both of you guys feel stuck and you're like, I don't know how to address this. I don't know what to do here, but I know that something is a problem here, but I'm feeling very stuck on it. I wonder too if you'll find that this is like some type of issue potentially with the energy of Venus. I'm seeing Taurus. I'm seeing Virgo, and I'm also seeing Libra here. So these can be like your placements, it can be the other person or entity or being's placements. The only court card that we have here is the King of Swords. So breaking this down to a point where there's going to be talk about values, expectations, reciprocity, like what one needs in order to feel like this is functional and sustainable. But you have to get to a point of like, I'm recognizing what those things are for me so that I can articulate those things. And also too, if there are things that I'm holding on to, that this is not the place for that, or it's like not an environment to apply that, there can be those realizations that are being made. Because the Hierophant can be this very like old energy where there can be these ideas of like, my father did that and his father did that and I believe that because of it. And then when you get down to it, it's like that may not even be what you believe. It's just maybe something that you're so used to like growing up in that environment that you're spouting off that that's something that's important to you. And when you really look at it, you're realizing that you're like missing the point here. And that even though that could be something that at first you thought was related to your values, you get down to it and you're like, that doesn't actually like help me with my value. You know, that's actually not something that like impacts me in a positive way. But it's going to take having to undress these things to really get down to the bottom of it. And having somebody that is like a bit more objective can definitely be very helpful with this, to sort of like break down the outer shell and casings of things to get really to the bottom of it. Because there can be some stuff that like the only reason one is claiming certain things are their values is because that's just how it's always been, but there's like a lack of deeper insight about it. And it could even be the thing that's actually not allowing things to be working, you know? It could be a very loose thread here. Or maybe it's not, but it's going to take breaking this stuff down in order to figure that out. And that's really the point of this. And it feels like enough stuff has happened at this point that it really has to be addressed, because I am seeing 10 of Swords on the bottom of the deck, and it feels like there's going to be a lot more where that came from unless this is something that is addressed now. But what I'm seeing, as far as what I'm seeing energetically here, is that this can work. So if this is something that you don't want to give up on, and this is something that like you actually are trying to achieve something here, and you're like, no, I'm willing to maybe put in some work, but it's something that I don't want to let go of, you are able to achieve reciprocity here. But there's going to need to be communication where there's a lack of that. And I do feel for many of you, a mediator can be involved in this, so that can actually happen, because for some reason it just may not happen unless there is a mediator there for some reason. But yeah, so if you're looking at this and being like, I want guidance, like, is this just something that I should give up on and like I need to accept and move on from? Or if I put in effort to this and like commit to this path, is this something that can actually work out? It can definitely work out, is what I'm seeing, okay? All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.